Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your absolutely favorite podcast. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. With Griffin. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Golden voice is back. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Today I want to discuss the NFL. I want to do a little bitching with Griffin. It's my favorite thing to do. And I want to talk about Dune. And I want to talk about Murder in the Building. Woo, it was good. I also traveled to, where did I go this week? I was in Arlington, Washington this week. I did the draft house and that was great. But just once again, welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Okay, that's good. Okay, I think we went overboard with the woo-woos today. We had a little overboard woo-woo. Okay, first up, as you know, I like to use different pictures when I'm here by myself. And today, I think I may have the person wrong, but I hope I don't. But this was sent in by Mr. Will Peacock for a little while the episode. We're in his living room area, I guess. I'm not sure, but it's a nice looking thing. He's got a fireplace, so we're out here in Will's place right now. So I hope that is who it is. So thanks, Will, for sending in a picture. And if you'd like to send in a picture, you can send it to my Instagram, or you can email me at eric@ericgriffin.com. But make sure it's like the horizontal, you know what I mean, so it can fit on the screen. A lot of people are sending me pictures that are like, the other way, and the dimensions can't fit, so I got to crop it. So just crop it for me. Use some common sense. And when you send a picture, so if you'd like to send a picture, send that out. So for a portion of the podcast will be in Will's, but I still also really enjoy. I also want to get back to. I miss Mexico, so I also want to bring Rachel back on, because we really had a good time out in Mexico. So this is actually a good setting too. So for a portion of the podcast, most of it's going to be this one, but for the start here, let's get back to my man, Will Peacock's living room. All right, so thank you and welcome to Riffin with Griffin. As always, please, I'm on Twitch daily, so make sure you check me out there on Twitch. That is Erik Griffin Gaming on Twitch, so that's still going strong, so appreciate that. Thank you very much for, the support I get there. So that is what it is. So first, I just got back from Arlington, Washington. I had this great view from my hotel room of the Pentagon, and it was just like so bizarre. I mean, I literally opened my window. I should have taken. Why didn't I take a picture of that? I really should have taken a picture of that and shown you guys what I was talking about. Duh. You forget. Sometimes you just live life. You don't always want to record life. So, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with that too. Like, not everything needs to go on the internet. Not everything you need to share. I had that experience. It was my own. I was just sitting in a chair looking out, and it was like this great view of the Pentagon. And it reminded me I thought back to 9/11, and I thought back to like how this must have been, what a scene that must have been in this area, and how things change, how resilient we are as human beings, how resilient we are as United States citizens. All the things that we've gone through in the past, 100 years, and here we are dealing with another big thing, and we're surviving. We're doing it. So I had a great view of that, and that was great. That area was pretty nice. I don't know if you know about my other podcast, Gen to Gen with Matthew Espinosa. Make sure, you check that one out too. We're trying to build that one. It's a fun little concept. It's just about I'm an old guy. He's a young guy, and we're talking about the different generations, and we bring people on and we discuss that kind of stuff, and it's actually pretty interesting conversations. Our last episode was with Megan Trainor and her brother Ryan Trainor, and we talked about therapy and all this kind of stuff. So make sure you guys check that out. But Matthew's family is from that area, so his mom and dad came to the show, and then they picked me up the day I'm leaving to take me to the airport. But they made me a home cooked breakfast, and they lived in this like really quaint part of Washington, Virginia area. It was just this like in the sticks a little bit, but it was just like a beautiful area. They had like this 5 acres, and the house that the dad built himself. So he was very proud of his house. He's walking around like, I built this fireplace, and he was like, showing me all. He was so proud of it, and it's like that's such a great thing when you see somebody make something and they're really proud of it. But it was just really nice to see like what a all-American family, even though he wasn't born, the dad wasn't actually born in the United States. But it was like, this is an example of the American dream, which we don't talk about enough. We don't remember that was the thing. You come to America from some other country if you did, and then you build yourself up, and you with however way you can, and then you live the dream later. You have a bunch of kids. They have 4 kids, and they lived a great life, and they're still doing it right now. So with all the kids out of the house, and so it was good to see. And it just reminded me of and the other thing that was good about it too is that his mom and dad have a big age difference. And it's actually the same age difference as Rachel and I. And I saw how they ended up, and I see their life, and it just really gave me even some more faith and joy in thinking about like moving forward in my life with Rachel, and that's why I'm still, and I don't know, all you people out there like over 40 who's, starting a new life, just getting in relationships or getting married or don't have kids yet, there's still hope, and it's like, that's what I'm trying to, I've talked about this before, but it's like about like, taking care of yourself, so that's what I'm trying to like eat better and work out and, get myself in shape so I can live another however many years and have this whole other life with like, with Rachel and kids and all that kind of stuff. So, it was good. It was good to see that. That's really the reason why I wanted to talk about seeing that and just seeing, like I envision myself later in life and this is what it'll be like, So, it was fun to see, and they were really nice people. So kudos to the Espinosa clan. Really appreciate that. What else is going on? But anyway, like I say, it was really fun to see. It was really fun to see, his parents and and his brother came to the show too. So it was nice to be out there, and it was and all the shows were good. And I also saw my cousin. My shout out to my cousin Alyssa. She came to the show, and it's always good to catch up with her. I don't have a lot of family. I don't have a lot of close family, and she's one of my. That's just, she's one of my. It's her. It's Angelique, my other cousin in New York, who I saw when I went to New York, and Alyssa. They're like my 2 closest blood relatives that. And I have to remember that you always forget that you have family because they don't live near me. It's not like I have that instant like, hey, can you pick me up from this? Or we're not running errands for each other because, we don't see each other all the time. But when you're with them, it's a good reminder of like, oh yeah, this is a really close relationship. So I always say to you people out there, keep in contact with your loved ones, and if you have even if you have a big family, I'm sure there's like a few people that you like, these are like your favorites. You know what I mean? Like easy for me to have favorites because I don't have a big family. I don't have a family that like we keep in contact. So the ones I do keep in contact, I'm like, oh, these are my favorites. But there's some people that you have like a huge family and then maybe you take it for granted. So like whoever you are, like, keep in contact, stay close, because you never know when it'll all go away. You know what I mean? So keep a lookout for that in your lives, people. So that was fun. So again, shout out to my cousin for seeing her. And in the shows it was the Arlington Drafthouse in Arlington. They were very nice. It was actually a very nice venue. The shows every single show was pretty good. You know, they were pretty good. It was great. It was great shows actually. I only had one issue. Once again, there's some kind of pattern but this wasn't like a whole thing. Like this chick just like she just walked out. She just said something to me because my cousin, like when she comes to my shows, she always says she knows how it's going based off like the conversation in the women's bathroom. So she's in the women's bathroom because the women are in there just like, oh, he's funny or whatever. Or somebody might be like, I don't like him. I can't believe he's talking about what he's talking about, you know? So there was one person like that. And my cousin was like, she's going to be one of those. And sure enough, as she walked out, she was like, you know what? You're a sexist, you know, and she just walked off, you know what I mean? But, you know, I don't want to obsess over this one person, but it seems like there's a pattern forming, or there's always one that's like that. Because everyone else seemed to have a great time because their picture line's long, and you know all these couples, you know, male, female, you know, all females are coming and taking pictures, and they're like, "Oh my God, you were so funny, I loved it." But you know, it's crazy how we obsess over the one person that we didn't get to. But you know, it is what it is. For the most part, it was all great shows, so I think that. And you know, I'm also, guys, I've been on King and the Sting a lot. So thanks to the King and the Sting people, you know, the King and the Sting, fan base, there is a very small toxic people, and they're always on the Instagram. They're always every time they put Instagram, there's like these toxic people that like, they don't have anything positive to say about the show. It's just all negativity towards me. You know, it really is strange. The amount of hate, like it's like the amount of hate coming from like 6 people is so toxic, and you just go, damn, like what, did I date your mom or something? You know what I mean? Like it's so weird. But it doesn't really bother me. It was only reason I'm bringing this up and talking about it is I just want to thank actually the real fans because they come to the show. Like, so I do appreciate that fan base who's one, listening to my podcast now, and two, who are actually coming out to the show because they are the first ones to tell me. They come right up to me when they're taking pictures like, yo man, love you on King of the Sting. I came here from King of the Sting. And, you know, and I go, oh, okay. So like, you know what? And I realize those are the important people, you know, like the internet's not real. That's, you know, and I was reminded of that this weekend. I was reminded of these sad, pathetic trolls who only want to put out negativity. I'm reminded that they're sad, pathetic trolls. And the people that actually care, that put money in my pocket, the people that, you know, remind me that I am appreciated for what I do, those people make a real difference and a real impact in my life. And I want to take the time to thank those people. And also not even forgetting all of you ride or die dogs that have been on the Riffin Griffin train from the very beginning. I don't say thank you enough to you guys too, because, you know, think of your fan base as just a blank canvas or a dark room, okay? It's a dark room or a dark canvas. And if you put one little red light in a dark room, it's all you see. And you forget that this room is also filled with something else. But it's that one little light, and that's the negativity, you know? So sometimes it's hard to not focus on that one dot when you have to remember that how vast everything else is. So this is my shout out to you guys. Thank you. Let me just get this thing in mic. Thank you for being a fan of Riffin with Griffin. All right, so that's a thank you song to you guys. So thanks for being here. Okay, so what we haven't had a lot of officially. What's my brand? Y'all always talking about I complain too much. What's my brand? Bitchin' with Griffin. You know, this is why you're here. If you don't like it, I don't need you to tell me like, well, you always complaining, because that's what I do, bitch. That's what I do. If you don't like it, turn it off. Go to another podcast. There's 6 million of them. Okay. But this is what we do here. So I do have something that I legit want to bitch about. And once again, before I do that, though, I want to thank Will Peacock. Thanks, Will, for your picture of your living room, but I miss Mexico and I want to go back to this one. So we're here this was in Cabo at the Adam Devine wedding, and there is the beautiful Rachel for the rest of the podcast. So this is something I want to bitch about. I know, look, it is what it is, guys. I ain't going to apologize for it. Okay, so I fly United Airlines, all right? Now, I always tell people this. If you travel, and if you think you're going to travel like maybe more than 5 times in a year, you really should pick an airline and stick with it, no matter what the cost of the thing is, because getting status on an airline is important. It's actually very beneficial. So as a comic, as someone that travels almost every weekend, it is important for me to have status on an airline. Now, you try to get status on all the airlines, but it's hard to do that because they want you to have a certain amount of miles, a certain amount of money spent. They've really changed it. It used to just be like the airline miles you fly, but then it was unfair for people that fly from the West Coast. Like if you're on the West Coast, you're always going to get a lot of miles because to fly from California is it's always going to be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 miles to get across the country or whatever the flight. And if you have connecting flights that take you. You get a lot of miles that way. So they changed it. They had some kind of algorithm that they do, and you have to get this amount of miles. And then they made it so, you also have to spend this amount of money. So for a time on United Airlines, it was like, before the pandemic, because they changed it, they're giving you a break now. But before it was like, the best status you want to get is 1K. Because they have this one called Global Services, and the shit is like Fight Club. It's like nobody talks about it. You don't know how to get in it. I don't even know how Global Services work. It's some it's some secret society, man. It's some Illuminati stuff over at the United Airlines. So, but before the pandemic, it used to be you had to, now check this out. You had to fly 100,000 miles plus spend $12,000 in a year to get 1K status. With flights being like, between $500 and $600, depending on where you're going to fly, because a lot of flights are, that's a lot. Okay. So 100,000 and then to be 1K. All right. So they changed this thing so they have pre-boarding. And you hear comics do this dumb joke all the time about the pre-boarding and all the things. But on United, the pre-boarding goes like this. It goes, people with disabilities. Okay. I'll give you that one. All right. People with disabilities, it takes them a while. I don't understand why they don't just do them last, but then you had to with the bags and everything. Okay. So you let the people with disabilities go on first. Boom. Second, active military. I'm all for it. Thank you for your service. You know what? You're doing a lot for the country. You're risking your life. You know what I'm saying? You're on the front lines. Whatever it is, I get that one too. Let's give them something. Since we can't give them proper health care, since we can't give them, the airlines are at least like, you know what, military, you get some first class status and you get to go on the plane early. Okay? Then they do this magical global services. And it's rarely that you even see somebody get on the plane with global services flights, especially depending on where you are, too. I've traveled all over the country, but when I see a global service person, I'm always looking at them like, why the hell that person got global services? I don't get it because it's invite only, and it's like really like global services is like, they'll actually, sometimes they'll pick you up at the flight, like you'll get off the plane and get into a car, and then they'll drive you to your connection flight. They have these like really like, you always get to upgrade, it's like global services has a lot of like hidden perks, and it's like that's why I don't know how to get into it. But 1K is the one underneath that, and 1K is pretty good too because now you get this, 1K you get like early upgrades. You like one time I was in Germany and I missed my flight, so because I was 1K, they got me on another flight without any cost, and it wasn't any problem. And then even the lady told me, "It's like you're lucky you're 1K," because she had an attitude problem. So you get a lot of stuff with 1K. All right. Okay, so they had the boarding. So the global services. Now here's where I'm gonna start bitching. Okay, here's the next one that they let on the plane. All right, before 1K, 1K is last of the pre-boarding. You know who they let on before 1K? People with kids under 2 years old. What? Excuse me? First of all, you ain't even supposed to be traveling with little kids like that. Like that's like, what are you doing? You've lost the privilege to like be in regular society when you've decided to have a little kid. If you ain't, this better be an emergency while you traveling with this kid. Babies crying on the plane, kids acting up. It's like it's such a hassle. I see you going through this hassle. You made this choice to travel with this kid. You shouldn't get no extra perks. Like here's my problem with it. So you can have a 2-year-old. And you bought the cheapest ticket possible. You never fly this airline. You're not even loyal to the airline. You just got the cheapest ticket, and you get to get on the plane before the people that have to spend $12,000 and fly 100,000 miles. You letting the people with babies get on the plane before me? I got a problem with it. Yep, I'm bougie like that. Yep, I'm elitist like that when it comes to my airline status. I don't know why the hell they allow people with kids who ain't even supposed to be traveling with kids to get on the plane before me. I got a problem with it, United Airlines. I got a problem with it, okay? I'm just putting out there. They should be last, okay? They still getting on before all the other riffraff, all right? They still getting special, but why you letting them go on before your 1K? 1K is the highest level you can achieve besides this mythical global service, and you treating us like what? Like that for that? Like go all the way with it, okay? Hey, first world problems, but that's what I do. I bitch about a lot of stuff. Small things, big things that don't mean nothing to most people. But that's what. So that ends the bitching with Griffin segment about that. Shit. Piss me off, man. Okay. I know that some of you right now are rolling your eyes. And, I don't care. You know what I mean? You don't know me. That's what I bitch about. Okay. Now, let's talk about the NFL. All right. The NFL season is in full swing right now. My fantasy football team is doing good. My main one is doing great. I love it. My other one, I got into a league with the Erik Griffin gaming community. But, I care about it, but it's so fresh and new. I didn't change my lineup this week, and so I lost to one of these. I can't stand him. I'm only kidding. Shout out to Jeff. Jeff beat me fair and square, but I didn't change 2 people in my lineup, and so now, I lost that game because I was on a plane. I was flying home from Washington, and then last second, the tight end for the Raiders was out. Anyways, so NFL season is really good this year. I'm having a good time watching. I got NFL Red Zone on. I use YouTube TV, so I get NFL Red Zone as a part of that package. And I love watching NFL Red Zone. But there's so many good teams, good stories that are going on in the NFL this season that I love it, man. If you look at the records right now. You look at the records, man. You look at, the AFC, we got the Bills at 4-2. The Raiders, after all that stuff with Gruden, they're still 5-2 atop of the AFC West, which at one point we thought was the best division in football, but it turns out it might not be. Because you got the Raiders, the Chargers, this is all like Raiders are always going to be the LA Raiders to me. So it's like the Raiders, the Raiders are the Raiders from my childhood, so that's why I support them, even though when they lost Vegas. But you got the Chargers, and then and then you go to look at the Bengals. The Bengals, they beat the brakes off the Ravens last night, so they're 5-2. Ravens 5-2, and then you got the Titans who are 5-2. They're a great team, right? And I mean, I can't wait for the NFL playoffs, man. It's gonna be really. Wait, what's going on here? I'm trying to. Okay, here we go. Then you go to the NFC. Then you got the NFC. Then you got the Cowboys, which I'm not a Cowboys fan, and I can't stand Cowboys fans. But they're 5-1. The Cardinals are 7-0. Rams, boom, 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 boom. I'm really supporting the Rams this year. I got my Rams hat on. Rams are 6-1. Love that. They're playing great. I mean, I can't wait to the playoffs. And then the Packers, after all that drama in the offseason with the Packers and all that stuff that happened, where they got beat up game 1, and there was this whole thing oh man, what is this going to be a distraction all year? They're 6-1. Then you got the returning champs, the Buccaneers are 6-1. So this, I mean, there's going to be a really good team that is not going to make the playoffs this year, and in the playoffs are going to be matchups of all teams I think that have a chance to win the Super Bowl. I mean, I think this year is going to be the best playoff. It's going to be the best playoffs we've had in a really long time, where every single game is super competitive, even that wild card game. Who knows, man? Who knows? who could, like anybody, any of these teams that I mentioned has a legit chance to make the Super Bowl. Because every week, other than the Cardinals, who haven't let us down yet in terms of like, because they have no losses, but every single one of these teams, you go, oh man, they're rolling. This is the team. Then they get a loss, and you go, wait a minute, because that's what happened with the Ravens. Like the Ravens were rolling and rolling, and then they got the brakes beat off of them by Tennessee last night. So then you're just like, what? Like, so now who's the best team? So I'm just, I wanted to give a second to give a shout out to the NFL and how fun it is to watch this year, and keep your head, keep a lookout for when these playoffs come, man. It's going to be some good stuff going on here in the playoffs. Yeah. All right, where are we at now? Okay, so now I want to do some reviews. It might be a short episode this week, but I want to review some stuff now. I saw this show, and it's on Hulu, and it's called Only Murders in the Building, and it's on Hulu. It's with Steve Martin, Martin Short, and you can't see her because I'm blocking her, and there she is, Selena Gomez. What's up, girl? You have to be watching to see what I just did. But anyways, Only Murders in the Building. It's on Hulu. I'm not gonna spoil anything, so don't worry. There's no spoiler alerts right now. I'm a one-man show, so I'm looking it up right now, so I can also show some stuff here. Only Murders in the Building. This is a really funny show, man. I haven't laughed out loud at a show in a while. I mean, just legit laugh out loud. And I've done, and I got to tell you, Martin Short. So for you young people, like, you don't even know who Martin Short is, man. But this dude is the guy in the middle, and he's just a legend. I think Steve Martin and Martin Short are both in their 80s. They're old guys, but they're spry. They got themselves looking good. And it is just really fantastic show. And Martin Short, man, they're giving him the lines that just make you laugh out loud, man. And so the show's about these three people that live in this sort of upscale New York apartment place, okay? Like it would be equivalent to like a condominium or something like that. But in New York, people buy apartments in New York. You own stuff, or it's okay to actually live in an apartment for a long time because it's not about land in New York. It's about the space you have in whatever building. So anyways, they live in this building together, and Steve Martin plays like an old sitcom detective, like an old, like Kojak or like, Magnum PI. And so he was like this, big detective on this show for like however many seasons. And so now he's this sort of retired actor, but it's from old. And then Martin Short plays this, Broadway director who's kind of down on his luck. And then Selena Gomez is this sort of mysterious, seem to be artist who's living in the building also, but she's the young one of the group. And they're huge fans of true crime podcasts. So these are fans of true crime podcasts, and they sort of bond over this one podcast that they all listen to. And that's how they sort of like start talking, because there is a murder in their building. So someone gets murdered in their building, and then they decide to start a podcast about that murder, and they're trying to investigate this murder. And so that's basically what the show is about. Yeah, the show is about you finding out who did the murder, why they did the murder, and all the players. And it's actually, that part of it is actually pretty fascinating. It's a little far-fetched, but it's like fun to watch them deal with it. And it's just also fun to see these people dealing with their own personal things too. They're actually really great actors. I didn't realize Selena Gomez was such a good actor. She's doing pretty good. My only thing about Selena Gomez, and it's just very strange for the people that watch this show, please comment about this now. She got a weird speech pattern. Now, I don't know if she's putting on this speech pattern as a character choice or if this is how Selena Gomez talks. I'm not sure. It's very unusual. I'm not saying it's bad Okay. I'm just saying it's unusual. And if I'm not familiar with her, I don't know if like, oh, that's just Selena Gomez. So you got to let me know if you're a Selena Gomez fan and you watched her on other things. It's very unusual, but she's actually doing a great job with these comedy giants. Like these guys are legends, man. Steve Martin and Martin Short are legends in the game. Like, they're so funny even to this day at this age. They're still funny. There's just something about them. And like I say, I think Martin Short he's killing it. Like they give him all the funny lines and he delivers them with style and grace, and it is so freaking funny. And Selena Gomez is holding her own. Like she's like the straight man or straight woman in the thing, like these two crazy old guys, and she's just there to give you that kind of like, bland straight line of what you're feeling yourself about these old guys, So, but if you have Hulu, I do highly suggest you watch it. I think it's like I said, I think it's a very interesting show. It's very very new. It's very different. It's different. It's like they make a lot of artistic choices. Oh man, like is this given? I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. Well, maybe this is a spoiler. It's not a spoiler of the plot, guys. Okay, so don't worry about that. But there is someone deaf in the show. Okay, and then they do an entire episode in silence. And it was just such an interesting, creative choice that I was just like, and I didn't really like it. Like, I didn't like the whole thing. Like there was a point where I was like, oh, they're doing this. There was like, and then you had to like wrap your brain around it. It's kind of like when you watch something and you don't realize it's a musical, and then all of a sudden it's a musical, and you might be like, oh, I wasn't ready for a musical. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but it's just like your brain, you got to wrap your brain around it. So prepare for that. And maybe I'm helping you, but you're going to be like, ooh, I wonder when that episode comes, you'll be like, okay, I was ready for this because Riffin with Griffin told me to be ready for it. But it's just a very fascinating choice. Very artistic choice, very creative choice, and it was so different. And as an artist myself, as somebody in the business, I was like, oh, that's great. I didn't just particularly like it the whole time, but I was like, wow, what do you do for 25 minutes? It's like, you know what I mean? Like they really went for it. And it's like, if they would have done it, like if it was a whole season of that, turn it off. But to make an episode choice, I thought that was it was good. It was very interesting. So make sure you check that out. So I give a huge thumbs up. I got to get my own thing because thumbs up is from Siskel and Ebert. What should mine be? So let's do a poll question for that. What should my thing be? Should it be mustache up or I don't know. We have to come up with some kind of like rating system, a name for my rating system. But for right now, I give it 5 stars. Yeah, I think you should watch it. I think it's worth watching. So take some time, watch it. You got the endorsement here from Riffin with Griffin. All right, next up, guys. Next up, another really fantastic thing that I watched was Dune. Dune, baby, the new movie Dune. I never saw the original Dune. Let's actually look that up. Original, from the 80s, I believe it was. I don't know. I forgot even who was in that movie. I think Billy Idol was in the movie. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was in 1984. 1984. The original. Here we go. Let's go to the IMDb and look at the original Dune. Where you guys are? Let's switch to screen. There we go. Yeah. So the original Dune was in 1984. I don't even recognize some of these actors and actresses that were in the show. But it was, I don't know, man. The original Dune was like super weird. I never understood it. It just, you know what I mean? It was just one of these weird psychedelic, and I was just too young at the time too. In 1984, I was 12, I think. So this wouldn't have been the movie for me. So it's just one of those things where it just went on. Like, it was like, okay, see you later, Dune. And then they tried so many other times to then they had like Children of Dune, and then there was another Dune. They tried their best to. Patrick Stewart was in the original Dune. I didn't know that. They tried their best to make this sucker happen. So I don't know. So then this is what they do. There's no original ideas in Hollywood anymore. Sometimes there's just a lot of let's remake or let's do it again. So they did it with this one, with this Dune, but I gotta tell you, man. This movie was fantastic, and I saw it in the theater too. So I guess it's getting mixed reviews from some people, but I don't care. I'm just telling you what I thought of it, and I just think, this movie was so good, man. So it stars this kid, Timothy. I don't even know how to say his name. Timothy Chalamet. I'm not even sure what else he's been in. Let's look and see the other movie. I've seen him before. But you just oh yeah. He's always in artsy fartsy stuff, man. He was in Little Woman, he was in Beautiful Boy, Lady Bird, Call Me Your Name. It's all this sort of artsy fartsy stuff that he's been in. They're in pre-production for Dune 2, which is great. That's good to hear. It's always some artsy. So this kid was in he's the star. And then, it had Oscar Isaac, who's a great actor. Zendaya. I didn't know she goes by one name now. She was great. Jason Momoa was so, you know what? Last week I talked about the show he's on, C. He's actually becoming a really great actor, like an action guy, but a really great actor that has depth. And I believe him, he's such a great hero. Jason Momoa, I like to call him. But Jason Momoa he's a really great actor. Josh Brolin is in this. He's always great as this. He's always the surly old guy, He's great in it. Oh man. Oh dude, Stellan Skarsgård, whatever. He's been in the Marvel universe. Man, he plays a great villain. So it's just this lady, Rebecca Ferguson, oh man, she's so tortured in this. She's good. So there's a lot of really great performances in this, in Dune. So, yeah. So I saw this in the movie theater too. I went with my cousin, and it was before a show. First of all, we went to this AMC in Arlington area, in this really nice little area. I've never been to that area before. And my cousin, she lives in that area and never been there either. They had a beer festival outside. It was really strange. It was they blocked off the street, and there was all these beer places, and tents, and everybody was drinking beer in the street. So they had it blocked off a certain area. But I didn't understand where there was kids and dogs and stuff, and it was this beer festival. They had bratwursts and all kinds of stuff, and the movie theater was right there. So we went into the movie theater. The movie was at 4:00. So the movie's at 4:00, and my show was at 7. So I was I thought we'd be fine. Now, it was a 2.5-hour movie. It's a long movie. It's 2 hours and 35 minutes. Man, this AMC, man, they had legit 28 minutes of previews. I'm not exaggerating, y'all. It was 26 minutes of previews and then 2 minutes of AMC stuff. They had this Nicole Kidman video that was a couple minutes long, of her talking about, it was all dramatic. She's in the theater, going to the movies is a great experience and blah, blah, blah. And then the whole concession stuff. And it was 28 minutes. I love previews. I love watching previews. But it got to a point where I was well, goddamn, how many previews are they going to show? And then it started to be oh man, am I going to be late for the show? So I had to we were 6 minutes away from the draft house. So I texted the guy, I said, don't panic. I'm at a movie. I will be there. But yeah, we got out of the movie at 6:55, and we barely made it. I didn't make it to the beginning of the show, but it didn't matter because it was a guy opening. But anyways, Dune. So we saw it in the theater, and it was a fantastic movie experience. I haven't wanted to watch a movie a second time in a long time. I'm talking about for 5 years now or so, I would go see a movie. And other than the Marvel stuff, I wanted to see Endgame again in the movie theater. But other than something big like that, I haven't watched a movie where I go, oh man, I got to see this again. And this is one of those movies, man. So how do I even explain what Dune is about? And it's no spoilers in it. And you can watch it on HBO Max, by the way. And I think a lot of people are watching it there. But I do suggest, even if you watch it on HBO Max, go see this sucker in the movie theater. It's worth it. It is such a great movie experience. The sound, the cinematography, the special effects are so seamless. The acting is great. I believed everyone. Now it was like an adult sort of Star Wars, I think, because anytime you're out in space and there's planets and there's an emperor and there's like you get sort of a Star Wars vibe, but it wasn't as childish. This isn't for everybody. It's a really great story of it's kind of Game of Thrones meets Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's like family intrigue and politics and magic and it has that sort of vibe. You get sort of like a Jedi sort of thing going on. You get sort of there's factions fighting against each other. There's families. There's, families fighting for territory and status. And, there's evil. And they don't make it so concrete like these are the bad guys, these are the good guys. Because, it's hard to even tell. So, Dune. And here's the thing that they did, and the reason why I want to see it twice is they had a lot of splaining to do. You know what I mean? There was a lot of explaining to do. Like when you're introducing made-up universes, okay? It's like, it's easy to say. It's like if you're doing like some spy movie and you're going the country is France, for instance. We don't need a lot of backstory because we live on Earth. So we kind of can infer everything. There's common information in our head. So they don't got to go into all this exposition about Europe was founded and blah, blah, blah. And this is why France is France. And, because then when you get all that information, then you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. So they had to do a lot of this in Dune. So the first 35 minutes of the movie is kind of getting us caught up on this is the universe. This is what's been happening. Here are these people and here are these people. You get a sense, okay, so there's an overall emperor who you haven't met yet, who's kind of like the galactic empire. And they run the whole place. And there's these families and they have their own planet. And, and it's sort of like this royal system of there's dukes and barons and, and they're sort of controlled by this empire, and there's everybody's got their own planet type of thing, right? And so you open up, you learn about this planet. Oh, I forgot the name of the planet already. This is what I'm saying. Well, you gotta get all this information in your head. But there's this planet that has this rare mineral. They call it spice. And this stuff is used for intergalactic travel, so it's very valuable. And this is the one planet I believe you could get this from, apparently, And it's like a sand planet. It's like, sand dunes, And it's this really hard planet that with weird weather and, it's just a hot ass desert, the whole planet, and there's native people that live there and, you're sort of following what's going on with them and how they're interacting. Of course, they're being enslaved by the bad people, because people, you know what I mean? It's kind of like Avatar, where, the government comes in because they want some kind of mineral and there's some native people living there and it's sacred to them. And it's that kind of vibe. So, and then you learn about this planet. And so they're telling you the story of all, these people were there enslaving them, but not treating them well. And then the emperor told them to leave. And then they have this other people come and that's this family right here, So this kid, I don't know if his name is, he's Paul. He's a star, the kid, Timothy. And he, you follow his story. He's the main guy. You're following him. And it's it's a great story about father and son and legacy and the fighting is good. And, it's just, I don't want to spoil the movie. I think what I'll do in maybe a month, I'll do a whole recap of the movie like I do. But this was a good movie, so I don't like recapping good movie. I like recapping bad movies because they're so stupid. But this was a really good one. And all the performances were great. You're following this kid, and it said right away, part 1. I like that I looked on IMDb and it said they're in pre-production for part 2. I just don't think they've made an announcement. But I think the movie is really doing great. But I don't know if I've done I'm trying not to spoil it because everybody gets mad at me when I spoil movies. But I do want to say this is completely worth watching. And especially if you don't want to pay, you already have HBO Max, watch it on HBO Max. But I'm saying to you, I think it's a really great movie theater experience. I don't know who made the music, but it's like really riveting music. When you're watching these battles or just things that are happening, like you see this really grand scene, this great cinematography of this made up universe and everything you see, and they have this great music that goes with it. So it was just a really great movie experience, and I was reminded of why movies are so beloved. Like the movie going experience is great, man. I had a big bucket of popcorn and I had my Coke Zero, and you know what I mean? And we were just, my cousin and I were just like, whispering to each other like, oh my God, this is so good. I can't believe this is happening. It was just one of those experiences. And I'm just sitting here. I'm glad that we're sort of back to normal, or that this is still an option during these crazy times. So if you haven't gone to a movie yet and you're looking to go see a movie, I'm suggesting that you go see Dune. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Like I say, really great performances, man. It was just a really fantastic movie experience, man. Ooh, let's go to this right now. I want to show you. Let's go to this little thing. Yeah, man, this guy, so good. He was great. Isaac something or other. I mean, just he was the father. I mean, look at some of these scenes, man. Like, it just, from the IMDb, it was just like, epic battles. There's Jason Momoa. He was, like I say, he was really good. Jason Momoa was really good in this movie. And I think that, what's his name? Like the two actors from C are in this, man. Oh, you got to see this. So the bad guy is this guy, and he's floating a lot. So it was like he's very much like a fat Dr. Evil with floating power. So there's gonna be a lot of memes and a lot of funny things people are gonna do about it. But it was actually pretty good. I like that. Here's the kid Timothy who played Paul. It's like you get the young, cute actor with the Justin Bieber hair type of thing. It's like, this is what we like. We like young people being the stars of stuff. But I like when those young people have some depth and soul, and he really gives a great performance. So all his artsy fartsy choices that he's made in the past has led him to combine a action movie, big epic, big budget action movie with his artsy fartsy skills, and it leads to a very great performance. So I really enjoyed this kid in the movie, and this lady too, who plays the mom, Rebecca Ferguson. Oh my gosh, I liked her. Like, I liked her because she's a mom of, and I'm not going to tell you all the stuff that she's dealing with or her story, but like, you could see all that she's dealing with her performance without her saying any words, and she's just a great mama bear performance, I really enjoyed just watching her. And she's captivating too. She's beautiful, and she just really gave a great performance, And then this one here, Zendaya, I don't know how to say her name. It's weird. She's in the movie and she's not in the movie. But I think that, like, if they go to part 2, she's going to be huge in that one. But you'll see what I'm talking about when you watch it. She was great. Oh, there he is again. And of course, Josh Brolin is just, he just, you believe him as the sort of like sergeant or whatever, the grizzly, like, grumpy whoever. He always does a great job of that, and he did, And so, it really was a lot of epic battle stuff and intrigue, family intrigue. So it's very good. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see all these images that I'm showing you, but if you're listening right now, I do recommend you go watch the movie. But like this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. They had these really like great cinematography where like, he's holding on to the kid and they're in this ship, and then there's this thing. I'm not going to tell you what's coming after them, but like, it just really looked great on the big screen, like just special effects these days are just so great that you can't even see. It's like, it's so seamless now. So I really enjoyed this damn thing. Wait, I mean, look back at this picture. I wonder if Hunters are they doing a season 2 of Hunters on Prime? If they're doing a season 2, I got to check that out, because that was also, I should actually review that. But I'm going to check. I hope there is a season 2 of that. I'm learning this stuff on the fly. But anyways, guys, wait, let me go back to this. Boom. Let's get Rachel back on the screen. There we go. So yeah, man. Like I say, I recommend Dune. I want you to check out Murder in the Building. I thought that was really good. So make sure you guys check that one out too. But I don't know. It's just I think I'm gonna have a guest next week. I really appreciate you guys watching the other podcasts too. You don't have to, but it's like, check out Jen to Jen, man. I think it's different. If you like me and you're gonna see me interacting with someone else, and then we had a great episode. We've had Dane Cook on. The Dane episode was really fun because it's good to have somebody my age talking to this young kid about the things that we like, and how technology has changed our lives and all that kind of stuff. So we had a really great discussion. And then we had Megan Trainor and her brother on, and we had a really great discussion about mental health and therapy and all that kind of stuff. So that was a good one right there. And but I'm getting some more people to come on that one and mine. So make sure you check that out. So guys, we did it. Another fantastic episode of Riffin with Griffin. This one was short and sweet. I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you check me out on Erik Griffin Gaming. That's daily. I'm always on Twitch. So if you want to be a part of that community, on Saturdays, most Saturdays, I try to game with the fans. I do custom matches of Warzone. And I'm going to start playing some other games too, but make sure you come check that out on Erik Griffin Gaming. And just thanks for being here, man. I appreciate, like I said earlier in the show, I appreciate all the love. I appreciate the people that come up to me at the shows who are really making a difference in my life personally, because you're coming to my show, you're spending money, and you're telling me, hey, I appreciate you. You're the ones that I should focus more on, and I really do appreciate you. So this is a celebration of you guys. So thanks for that. And, I'm still going. This is episode 157, so let's keep building, let's keep growing, and I appreciate you. And thanks for watching Riffin with Griffin, and I will see you next week. Riffin.